Hello from Flushing Meadows Corona Park in Queens, New York. We are here today at the Queens Museum, and this is for a D23 event called D23 Goes to the World's Fair. So the World's Fair in 1964-65 took place here in Queens, New York, and technically 2024 was the 60th anniversary, but the World's Fair continued. So there's a 60th exhibit here at the museum right now and this D23 event today. So we're going to tour the museum and look around at the fairgrounds. The Unisphere is right there, which is so cool. Yeah, so I'm Meagan, or Meagymouse, and I share how to live a magical lifestyle wherever you are. I'm based in Philadelphia, but we made the drive up to New York City today just for this event, and really excited.
I want to introduce Lynn Malazewski, who's Assistant Director of Archives and Collections, who's going to give you a little intro before you take a look at the exhibit.
Welcome everyone! Thank you so much for coming! Incredible film for you to watch a little bit later, which will take you through fundamentally Disney's contributions to the '64 World's Fair. So to give you a little bit of background, just briefly on the Queens Museum and this building. So the Queens Museum was actually built for the 1939 World's Fair. The park itself was created for the 1939 World's Fair, and it remains in the same orientation that it did from 39, with all the same avenues and the same grassy lands. In 39, Robert Moses also had a part in it. In 64, he was the World's Fair president. And what that means is fundamentally, this was a private event in 64. There had already been a World's Fair in Seattle in 1962, but Robert Moses, being Robert Moses, said, I want to use this park for my swan song, and he actually motivated not only the federal government, but the city government to offer tens of millions of dollars to put on this show, which is why the name of our exhibition is called $1 Billion Dream, because fundamentally $1 billion in 1960 went into creating the World's Fair.
But we just had like our little intro, and now we're just gonna explore the museum, and then we're watching a video in like an hour. Okay, I didn't mean to look at the merch first, but I was looking for a phone charger, which they don't have. But I was like, ooh, some of these shirts are really cool for the 60th anniversary. And this is about the Unisphere, but it has a quotation mark opening, but not ending. And it's actually ruining this shirt for me. Disappointed. Before looking at the World's Fair 60th exhibit, we checked out their other current exhibits, one by Umber Majid, which is a counter-narrative to the Pakistan pavilion of the 64-65 World's Fair, and the other is by Filipino artist duo Avant-Garde, and this was about the Filipino-American experience around the time of the 64-65 World's Fair. There's also a Tiffany exhibit. Tiffany was a New York-based brand, but their glass furnace and bronze foundry and workshops were actually located in Queens, a few miles from the museum. So it was a really cool inclusion here. Everything in here is the cutest thing I've ever seen. These are just aprons from the World's Fair, like souvenirs. It's so cute. That's cool. That one has like some of the different country things, I think. These are the materials that were in the different like country pavilions. So we have the Philippines, Pakistan, India, Korea, Jordan. All my videos are going to have this insane music in the background because there's like a kids puppet show with live music happening in the room adjacent to us. Orange and blue is like maybe my favorite color combination. So I'm loving that that was like the, I guess, official colors of like all the World's Fair branding stuff. And the mats. How did I never put that together? I need to reconsider this. Same. This was me driving through Manhattan like 30 minutes ago. So the pavilions that like weren't sponsored by like countries or states were like corporate sponsors. So there was this like Sinclair Oil dinosaur pavilion. Texaco, Gulf, Sunoco. Wait, did like every gas station have? That's cool. And the Ford Pavilion was one of the 4 designed by Walt Disney / Walt Disney Imagineering. And this was the Disney's Magic Skyway. I like this US Royals tires ride. That was just like a Ferris wheel inside of giant tire. It's funny, these are making me think of like Pop Century kind of, like Pop Century Resort aesthetic. So Flushing Meadow Corona Park was developed, I think, for the 1939 World's Fair. So this like layout of all the like pathways and stuff was intact from 1939 World's Fair. And then they used the fairgrounds for 1964-65. Hey Kyle, will you take my picture? Thank you. This was SKF Industries Pavilion and the Transportation and Travel Pavilions Moon Dome. And we know what this one is. Also, this woman's outfit. I want that. Oh, look, little Chip and Dale were up there. I was telling Kyle, my other thing I was really excited about coming here for is because I was a big, like, Men in Black kid. I know every word to that movie. So this is a moment. I wish they still sold like a copy of this World's Fair map, because I would get it. So trying to find, so that's the Ford, all the pavilions where Disney stuff was. Ford, Illinois. Okay, now I'm back over looking at this map again because somebody just like pushed me out of the way basically earlier. So we already found the Illinois pavilion, the Ford pavilion, and then over here is Pepsi Cola. So it's a small world right there. What a beautiful photograph. That is so cute. Is that her actual hair, not a wig? I actually really like that if that's the case. Muddy. This is so cool. So it's a scale, or by 2 scale, I should say, of every block in the whole city of New York. So that's like Brooklyn over there. Here's downtown, and this was as of 1993, so like the Twin Towers are still there. And then as you get into Midtown, Chrysler Building, Empire State Building, Central Park, Harlem, Bronx, Queens. This is insane. Here's like the scale of this room. It's so cool. Oh, whoops, I almost forgot about Staten Island. Wait, Staten Island is massive. So that's all of New York, Staten Island, and then what's this dark shadowy place?
That's the Joycey.
I know it's only like 5 feet down, but this still bothers me to stand on this. And then that's the, oh cool, that's the World's Fair. Look, there's like a little plane landing. Where did it go? That is so cool. I thought I saw that from across the room, but I thought it was like a bubble or something in the air. That's, what airport's that there? JFK? Yeah. Yeah, because that's JFK. This is LaGuardia, right? Yeah. Kyle's trying to find his old street.
Wyckoff. There's a bagel shop that's still there, that Wyckoff Star Cafe that I used to go to all the time.
What street did you live on?
It was Jefferson and Cypress.
Cypress is probably this way, because that's like
says
Palmetto.
Cypress
Oh,
right
Cypress.
on
Just
there.
kidding.
And then Star is there. Oh, wait. Knickerbocker. Yeah. So it was like more one of these. Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
It doesn't make
Somewhere
sense.
in this region.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was
Jefferson
one of your
Street.
apartments. Wasn't one of your other ones over here?
The other one was next to Prospect Park.
Oh, it's not on this map. Like further this way. If they sold reproductions of any of these things, it would be on spot. I would immediately get them. Like this bag, are you kidding me? That's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I want these bags. Ooh, I want these plates. I've actually seen some of that one and that one on like eBay, and they're not even that expensive. I want to try to get some of those for my collection. That is so cute. Miss New York World's Fair. That's the Ford Pavilion. This is the General Electric Progress Land, aka Carousel of Progress. So this is like a tiny case of like different like jewelry, collectibles, pens, brooches, etc. And this one is like a tiny little foldable brochure. It looks like it shows some of the pavilions in there. That is so cool. Oh wait, these are from 1939 World's Fair.
I think those were made by ants, actually.
For ants. What is this, a World's Fair for ants? These little like charm necklaces, that's so cool. Or wait, I guess they're bracelets. I want that. We gathered back with the D23 group to watch the full-length Wonderful World of Color TV spot that was hosted by Walt about the World's Fair. Recording our snacks for posterity. It was at least 400 degrees in that theater. But truthfully, it was so hot in there. Probably like 80. at least. At least 80. And it was like the whole 1 hour Wonderful World of Disney World's Fair special, which is really cool. Like, I feel like I've seen it, probably all the segments at some point individually, but maybe never all in one sitting.
Yeah. In
an 80-degree room. Mm-hmm. No, but it was cool that they had like the original commercials and like stuff like that. And
it felt like you were stuck on It's a Small World, but like in an 80-degree room.
So that special literally has Walt narrating the entire It's a Small World ride. And somehow the amount of footage is like longer than the actual It's a Small World ride. And the good thing about It's a Small World when you're at the parks is that it's air conditioned.
Yeah.
And here it is not.
Yeah.
But we're sitting outside now. We got some snacks. There's like cafe in there, which is like mobbed right now, which I feel bad about.
I think people lost a lot of body weight sweating. So
we're replenishing our fluids, and they also had these little ube crinkle cookies, which sound good. So we're going to eat these and then walk around like the Unisphere a little bit and take some pictures. And it's actually better than I expected it to be.
I would say, like, when you've experienced like a heat stroke, anything, the first thing you eat afterwards is usually the most delicious thing ever.
It feels so much nicer out here than it does inside. Oh my god, I think I'm dying. I inhaled powdered sugar. I guess you can just walk out here now that there's no fountain. We just missed the anniversary of this, April 22nd, 1964. So this is really 61 years now. This place is massive. Like, what were you saying?
I was just going to point out that Dan Zverev knows manual flipped out on that ledger there. That was a pretty epic moment.
Skate videos? I know, I'm trying to figure out where I want to take a picture. This was a really fun day. Visiting the World's Fairgrounds have always been on my like Disney bucket list, and I've been to New York, you know, tons of times, and I've just never made it up to Queens to do this. So I'm glad there was this D23 event, gave me a good excuse to come visit. Let me know in the comments what's on your Disney bucket list. But thanks again for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I'd be so appreciative if you should decide to subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.